The following views and opinions are not those of the BET Cooperative Credit Union Limited or any of their affiliates. Hey everybody, it's Shanelle and Lisa again with Making Dollars from Cents, brought to you by BET Cooperative Credit Union Limited. And we are welcoming you to episode 2. We are so excited about this episode. And before we get down to the nitty-gritty of things, we just want to remind you to check out episode 1, Credit Union versus Bank. Feel free to take a listen. Feel free to ask any questions. And comment, email us at news@btcol.com and just let us know what you think. Give us some feedback.
All right, so welcome again to this episode to Generational Wealth. When we speak of generational wealth, we speak of assets being passed down from generation to generation, and we want when I say generation, from one family to the next family, just breaking it right down, because we want our children and their children and their children as well have that wealth amongst each other that they can be financially free. So we're going to really get into this. I mean, this is one heavy topic, one that is not really explained much amongst our young people. And we need to know, how do we pass on generational wealth?
I agree. I also think that there's this stigma that only certain people could have generational wealth. Like you'll hear some people say, well, not me. She is throw a last name. She's
exactly,
XYZ.
exactly.
She got it covered or whatever. So like, it's almost like only certain people can have it covered.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's not how it should really work. And as Lisa said, like, she hit the nail on the head when it comes to explaining what generational wealth is. And it's basically building a financial legacy. You passing down your assets from your children, and your children passing it down to your children. And it goes on and go on and go on.
Assets, not liabilities, is the difference.
Exactly.
Assets. Very clear.
Assets.
Yep. Oh,
assets. Yeah. For sure. A lot of people want to know, why generational wealth? Why is generational wealth a part of financial freedom or financial, I want to say financial comfort. Because are we really and truly always free, right? Yeah. But it's a financial comfort. And honestly, I think that it helps with financial stability. It really eases the burden on your children.
Oh, yeah.
When you get older.
Yes.
Because right now, in our 30s, we have this idea of we have to have a house by a certain time. By a certain age. We have to have a car to get here, there, and yonder. Right?
Yeah.
But somebody has to, cut and contrive. Somebody has to bear the burden. And I'm sure, like my mother doesn't have license. But that's a choice on her own. But like, she catch your bus. So imagine if she had a car, and all know she might be paying back for it. And that's something, as she gets older, that's maybe a liability that will pass on to me. Yeah. So that's why I think that generational wealth is so important. And a lot of people will say, well, okay, well, if it's important, then why should I start? Or when should I start?
Well, that's the thing. I think we need to really push this sometimes children are young in primary schools, for people to understand why we do certain things and how we do certain things. And you ask a really important question: when do you actually start? You should really be building your wealth. And I do it for my children from the time that they're actually born.
No, I agree.
Yeah, you start with, and we would have spoken about it last time, credit union versus banks, where we spoke about having the credit union as your seed. So you're having your seed, and you're having your seed for your child from an early age. So when you use the water now from the banks and you're watering this account, it's growing. But you as that individual have to have discipline and sacrifice in building your wealth. Because that means as parents, you ain't gonna go to every single
Cockfight.
there we go. We're going to every fat. We're going to every cruise. We're buying every piece of clothes. Certain things we just aren't doing because we want that our children, our children's children are taken care of. Yes, some people may say, oh, I want to enjoy my life. Nothing is wrong with that. Enjoy your life, but make sure you put down something. Invest in something that it carries on your name and your children's name.
But you see, the weirdest thing, right, is a part of building generational wealth. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it's almost like incurring debt. Because if we talk about assets, having property is an asset. Mm-hmm. And having a home, a house, house and land, that's property. That is an asset in itself. So obviously, in this process, if you are now building generational wealth, you are going to incur debt, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things with building generational asset is that you want to eliminate debt. No, I want to be very clear on this. Just because you eliminating debt, I am not saying, oh, that 30-year mortgage, we can try to get cut down to 10. No, you want to eliminate unnecessary debt.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, credit cards. The point is that we are all shopping online. So, instead of having 3, let's narrow it down to 1.
It's narrow one. Yeah, exactly. You do necessity.
Yeah.
And not just once. And then, go ahead.
Right. Mm-hmm. And to unsecured loans.
Oh, yeah. A lot of us get tricked in them.
Yeah, unsecured loans. Even if you have an unsecured loan, find out how much the interest rate is. Because if you got an interest rate at 14% or even more for an unsecured loan, that's definitely a loan you want to get rid of. Avoid these microfinance companies.
The loan sharks. There we go. You keep it. We keeping it very real on the podcast.
A real strong word.
But it is the truth because you find sometimes those interest rates are ridiculous, and you feel, and then you're forever like paying back. When you calculate it, you're forever paying back a loan of which you know you would have used up. Because it would have been a small loan.
Yeah.
But you know you would have used that up within probably 2-3 weeks. And you're still paying off the interest off of it.
Exactly. So there are a lot of get cash quick microfinance companies.
Run from them. Run.
Who, so honestly, their interest rates are almost 30%. 30. I want you to hear it correctly. Not 13.
You're serious?
30%. Yes.
30%?
30.
That's a lot.
If you look at any, well, I don't know if you know anybody or at some point, some people might get in a bind and end up there. But if you look at the loan bond and stuff that that you're tied to, you're honestly paying about 30%. I can honestly see if I could find one and look for the exact interest rate, but it's be about 30%.
It is the truth. I now remember because I was looking at calculations for one the other day, and I went like, wow. But as you said, they're attractive because they're easy to get, but people don't have to really understand what they're really signing off on.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem.
And that's the thing, because back in the day we would have you see that's the thing with us too in our generation, because we like this get quick. We get it quickly. It is microwave behavior, but we have to understand something. It's just taking your time. Yes, it may not be much, but going back to what Shanelle would have said before in our first podcast, using that small $5 and accumulating it to your goal, to what you want, can assist also. Rather than jumping the gun and say, okay, I want this here now, the opportunity will come. It will come. There's a saying, whatever doing, what is for you, it won't miss you. So it will come right back around. But just being sure that you put the mechanisms in place to actually save up. So when that time comes, you don't have to be looking for all of the money, but you would already have part already saved.
Exactly. And even in eliminating debt, right? People has got this idea like, oh, but my credit card bill's so high, and this can happen and that can happen. There are 2 major methods people use for eliminating debt. There's the Avalanche Method, where you sort your debt based on the interest rate. So you start with the highest interest rate first, and you go right down to the lowest interest rate. And what you do is you pay off the high interest debt first, right? And then go to the low interest debt. Then there's the Snowball Method, where is that you start with the smallest balance first, right? And then go up to the highest balance. And I think that method, that snowball method, actually works a lot better. So let me explain it a little more in detail. So if you had let's say three loans you're paying. So there's your credit card, that's about $10,000. You have an unsecured loan, that's about $8,000. But your car loan is like $4,000, right? Why go for the $10,000 debt? Because it's at the high interest rate. When you can actually pay the minimum payment on your unsecured loan and your credit card and any additional funds that you were paying, put that to the smaller, the car loan that has the smallest balance, right? And put additional payments to that and try to pay that off in, let's say, maybe a year versus paying it off in 2.
It is true, yeah.
Right? So the thing about the snowball method is that you actually see the work you are putting in. I don't want to say almost instant, but that's what I'm going to say. Almost instant. You can see that money coming down. You just see that effect versus the avalanche method. Like when you put in additional money into a high interest at 10,000, you can see it come down. It can be 9.5. Then it may be 9.3. Like it don't move. It don't move. And you're not ever getting to the other debt. So the best method, start with the smallest first, pay those down. And you will realize that sometimes within 2 years, the only thing you left paying is that credit card. And the thing with the credit card is that we need it to an extent.
Exactly. It's amazing.
But you have to be very wise using it.
And very disciplined.
I'm very disciplined. I'm very disciplined. But things like your mortgage or anything that what I would call, it's a liability in a sense because you're paying it off now. It's not essentially yours right now, but it's an appreciating liability.
Understand.
It's something then that works towards being an asset for you. Those are things that I don't want to say that you can't get in debt for, but you see the value in the long term for it. If sometimes even making different little payments, especially in our 30s, most of us don't live home anymore.
Correct.
And simple things like appliances and furniture and stuff, we would have gone to home improvement stores and probably have HP accounts. Even if you can get...
For those out there, HP accounts is higher purchase.
Yes, higher purchase accounts. Very sorry about that. Yes, definitely higher purchase accounts. And those two have very, very, very high interest. And if it is that at any point in time you could go to your credit union or your financial institution of choice, I would say, and consolidate that debt, especially for HP accounts, that would be fantastic. And just make one payment.
So adding on to that now is getting persons to understand where and how to invest. Right. So that's a big thing right now on our island, on getting people, as I said, to understand investments and understand where to invest. So go ahead.
I think that one of the major things that people have in mind is that when you get invest money, it means that you got a lot of money.
You don't have to.
No, I can't buy bonds. I can't got a term deposit. I can't have an endowment. I can't have this. I can't have that because I ain't got no money.
And that's not the case. That's not the case. You can start with a little bit.
Some financial institutions start term deposits as low as $500. Here at BT is $1,000. $1,000, 1.1% a year. $1,000. And you don't have, and the thing is that if you are a person with a child, you don't have to start it for you. You can start it for the child.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Because if you got a young child, 5 years old, what I'm doing with $1,000? I mean, you got any reason for $1,000?
You have no, exactly.
And as Lisa said, she started saving for her children for no.
Yeah.
Right? And something as simple as $10 a month. $10 a month at 12 months a year is $120 a year. And if a child is 5, imagine when the child reach 15.
Yeah.
And at 15, they still ain't got no use for the money. Because it's you still supporting the child. So then you could even go further and multiply it by 20.
Exactly. And then and having a part of that investment into their education is really important also.
Definitely.
So that's what I'm saying, that's what I said at the beginning, and then repeat it again. This is where we have to teach our children from a young age about the value of money and how make your money work for you.
Yeah, and that's actually a part of building generational wealth.
Exactly, because a lot of people, when they see money, they say, okay, they use it for wants. And not understand, and that's the thing, because we grew up in a time, which basically was saying, okay, you work hard, but now we're in a time where you work smart.
Yes.
So you have to work smart with your money, work smart with your investments as well. Both of them are almost the same thing, but you have to work smart in whatever you're doing to make sure it multiplies for you at the end of the year or years. But along with it comes a lot of patience and sacrifice, because if you want to get to some place, yes, as we said before, all of those effects that are going to be starting, God willing, post-COVID. I know a lot of people would want to go to, but something got to be inside you saying, you know what, man, that could hold off. I can leave that to another time and do something else, and get your money, because I'm guaranteed by a lot of persons working from at home now have realized, you know what, I save so much money from buying food every day.
Yeah,
something as simple as that.
Something as simple as gas.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, honest, like, the food bill ain't up. We just sit at home and eat. Everybody put on extra 10 pounds. I can feel it.
I know, right?
But definitely gas, I could tell you. I know we quarrel about the lockdown and the curfews and things.
But a lot of us save some money though.
But you see gas, my gas is last me 10 days. When last year somebody said that gas lasts 10 days, my gas light is come on 10 days after. Because it is home and work. That's
it's true. That's it.
Nothing.
It's nothing.
But you just said something about sacrificing, going to the facts and stuff. I know this can sound foolish to some people, but you can still enjoy your life. Like, too many people is beginning to take on Instagram, share, repost that. If you really want to go out, win that ticket.
It's true. It is true.
Everybody. If Massey get red, told with bleach. And the one you like it and tag 3 friends like it and tag 3 friends.
All the time.
Look, if it's one thing my mother say, if you ain't got a ticket, you ain't got a chance. So that's what we're trying to say. If you don't try, you don't know where your luck is. People say, oh, I don't enter them things because I don't got no luck. But try.
It is true, and that's the thing. You have to work smart.
Yeah.
Take a and that's it. And another thing too.
Just don't sit on Instagram. And
I know, right? The whole day, exactly, the whole day. And that's the thing. We don't like to take risk. And when you're talking about investments, it is a risk. I mean, I could go spin the circle with this one, no, but
speaking about risk, this is a whole nother topic on its own. But personally, for me, I can hold so much licks for this. But my back broad. I am thinking, if you have $2,700 home,
oh Lord,
and you wish to invest it, I know it can take real long to get to $21,000 when you bring it out the credit union, right? But personally, for me, to have $2,700 right now is a blessing. So for you to give it to somebody that I am not sure if you could wholly and solely trust them. Something about it don't sit well with my soul. That is just my personal opinion, because I know how hard I work day in, day out. I've known some people.
It's stretching.
I know Lisa ready for me.
Stretching.
I wish when I could have seen she stretching. I wish when I could have seen she. I love little more she get hot and skating in here. Like TD Jakes for the sermon or something. I know some people who have been blessed, and some of them have used the money wisely, and kudos to them. Mm-hmm. Like I've known some people, it really helped them and eased them financially, and if it is working for you, then I ain't totally knocking it because it's working for some people, but there are also some people who are getting burned by it. And I want people to understand that when you invest in things like that, you cannot then be blasting people on the internet and saying, oh, I want my money. No, it is a risk. However, if you had put that money into a legitimate financial institutions, then you could go down by Global Finance or one of them, and you curlers and you petticoat, and you can get on however you want because that is your money. And there is you receive a piece of paper which indicates. That's why some people can get back their money from Clico, because they have documents that indicate what they initially invest.
Hold on.
However, there is no document in no circle, square, or octagon that indicates that you have invested that money. So when Sheila from Baxter's Road don't bring your money, you cannot get vexed. You can't get vexed. You can get vexed. You could be annoyed. But all you could do is air your mouth on Facebook and Instagram. You can't then be, I want back my money, I want this. No, it was a risk. And that's what I want people to understand. It is a risk. Investment is a risk. Even with Clico. Even with Sagicor, even with anybody, it's a risk.
Even with bonds, right?
Even with bonds, it's a risk. But you have a piece of paper that states what your initial investment is, and you are at least guaranteed to get that back. So if you initially invest $2,700, and 5 years later, something happened, you at least guaranteed to get back that $2,700. But I know Lisa itching to say something, and I can let you say what she goes.
I do not. Growing up, I would have heard about meeting turns and what's not. Most these things that are coming about now are no different. And in meeting turns, you had I don't know how to put it. They had the type of people that we shouldn't be around, and they had the people that we should be around. It is the mindset of the people. That's one. Team always make the dream works. That's my thing. I do not knock money. I call them money movement programs. I don't knock them because it is a way to help each other, but you have to do the work. Doing the work meaning you have to get people, as I said, of like-mindedness. You have to get people who are actually interested in seeing the community grow. That is how it's worked, but it is a risk. No,
I can tell you, but you just described a credit union.
I get it.
If you go back to episode 1,
I really talking about members.
Credit union versus bank.
Yes, true.
You just described a credit union.
Yeah,
that's all they want.
But I understand. But there are platforms out there that are very unscrupulous, and you have to know the platform on which you're getting into. So, as a business person, every day we step out of your house, it is a risk. You can go on the road, some niggas fling hit your head. You can go and eat something, and what happened to me already end up on a piece of metal. Things happen when you are alive, and you understand. So you always take risk in life, but in regards to taking up your last and risking it, that is the problem I have with a lot of people. If you can afford to risk it, do it. And guarantee you something. In some instances, nothing happens. In some instances, some happens. But you have to keep track and know what you are doing and what is coming behind it. One, that's two. People need to pay attention. I heard you just spoke about Clico. I'm one of those people who are in Clico. And when I saw issues happening in Trinidad, I ain't even wait before it hit Barbados. I was already calling the agent saying, listen, I see what's going on in Trinidad, and he assured me it wouldn't have happened here. Everything is safe here. I said, that's very nice. I really don't care. I want my money. Straight. And it wasn't even that nice. I said it straight. I was 24 at that time. But you have to
showing your age.
Yeah, still looking good, 2 children afterwards, still looking good. But people have to pay attention, and that's where a lot of our downfalls are. Because if you don't pay attention, and all of them are in some format a money movement program. Even if we're looking at insurances also, it is still a money movement program. So you have to know when to jump ship.
No, I agree.
Have to know.
Because for me, when some people approach me and ask me about it, and was like, you could do 27, you could do 13, you could do 675. I was like, 675? I I owe Massey $675 for my TV that on my wall and I don't want to get taken. So if I can give you $675, I'm gonna get to Massey.
That's what I said.
That's how I think.
And I totally agree with you. That's what I said. You do not take up your last. You don't take your rent money, your children money for your children. You don't do those things. But when you are looking at programs, and even again, starting from the get-go, meeting turns, all of those are investments, but you are not really supposed to say, you know what, this is my last chance. No, I do not agree with that.
But I think that, and I am glad that you mentioned that, because I think that is what is happening.
Yeah.
I think that people are picking up their last, like some people, and I am not going to sit down here and get on like if I do not have a great support system, because I do. Mentally, financially, emotionally, I got good friends, I got great family. You understand? So I ain't gonna sit down here and get on like, oh, I don't want to take up, because the first thing people be like, she bread buttered, she could take up. No, right? I do have a good support system. However, everybody does not have that.
Exactly.
And some people are trying to get money as fast as possible because they're desperate. There are some people that are desperate. There are some people who hear the end result and hear the detail. And literally are like, well, look.
That's another problem. People hear the end result, but they don't know the middle part.
Right, so that's the thing. And people don't understand, like, because for me, this how I see it. When I take up $2,700, let me say it was my rent money, and I said, I called someone, I said, look, I can't make it this month, things rough. But give me next month, I can go out by next month, right? I gone, and they find my 2 people. And I gone, I said, look, bum, I got my 2 people, they're ready. You understand? People also too have this notion, and they know like they must have the little Zoom meetings or whatever. But there's a certain type of individual who may not be as financially literate as me and you, and that's why we're doing this here now, right? Who don't understand that is a process, and it is going to take about at least 6 to 8 weeks before they could get that payout. If they do get that pill. Well, and I think that's the problem. Well, people using the last are like, they're cutting our contract, even they're sacrificing in certain areas that, that kind of puts them in a bind. And that's what causing the noise. That's what causing people
not only that.
Instagram blocking. That's what causing people to get ball out and stuff like that.
And again, these things take structure. And going back to the credit union as a membership, and you looking at it, and the banks. These things take structure. And if you're looking at investments, we're really going into the nitty-gritty of things. Now, when you go into a money movement program and they're saying to you, bring 2. If your other people don't bring 2, it's stuck. So you would have done your part, but your other people that haven't done their part, it is still stuck. That's what I always say to people. Anytime you leave in the meeting turns, you must have structure. And if you do not continue the rotation, you're still stuck. So again, you have to know when to go on the ship and have your crew and when to step off. Yeah. I don't know nobody's hustle at all. I just say you have to pay attention. And a lot of people just see the beginning and they see the end. They don't see the in-between. You don't see the fact that you have to really work to get these things done. You don't really see you have to, and Barbadians say fine, get a little bit complacent or comfortable with the word called follow-up. People don't like to follow up on nothing. So you have to do these things if you really want to get on that end trail. So it's just like the Dorothy on the Wizard of Oz. As I was saying, it's just like Dorothy on the Wizard of Oz. She had the beginning, but in the end, during the path before she got back home, she had to get courage, she had to get wisdom, and she had to get the other one. That was it, right?
Honestly,
courage and wisdom, right?
The Wizard of Oz is a blur for me.
Oh, seriously? But these little storyline things they always pick up to. Remember, that's what really takes us on life.
Heart. It was heart.
Right, and heart.
Heart.
So those 3 things you have to really get in the middle of the process to really get what you want. And that is when we speak about with generational wealth, it takes courage, it takes wisdom, and it takes heart.
I agree.
There we go. So,
and speaking of heart, we got holding nobody on the one give out.
Yeah.
That sound rough.
It sound rough, but it's real.
But to the next point, definitely, if you're looking at building generational wealth, you must consider insurance.
Always.
You must consider insurance. And I ain't only talking about life. I also am talking about health insurance. Because we are not always going to be in this optimal health that we are in now, in our 20s and in our 30s. Like, I know we working, and sometimes some of our places of employment will cover some of those benefits for us. And your money is be like, every month they're taking out this money, and I don't ever use this here. And even, I can be real honest, even during COVID at that point in time, like, not during, I want to say during COVID, because COVID still happening. When we were on lockdown, you couldn't do the makeup, you couldn't do nothing, right? Like, at some point, I was like, I don't even use this medical plan. But then, it's a good thing, because then I had to get emergency surgery. Wow, that sure as hell helped me. And yes, I could tell my business by here. So the surgery, the book for $400. And then I had to go back for dressing every other day. And if I did not have my Sagicor card, it would have cost me $130 every other day. When I could sit down, I could do the math. And that was for 6 to 8 weeks.
$130 for 6 to 8 weeks.
Every other day.
Every other day.
But I have my medical card, so it only added to be like $40 or something. So once the system was up and working, $40. If not, $130. Even in there, I had a host visit. $150. So, and this is me in my 30s, emergency surgery, minor. I got a friend that's my age as well. Stage 2, cervical cancer. When she came back from living overseas, she wanted to get back her medical insurance, but she had put on a significant amount of weight. And as a plus size person, you know, you first say insurance, say, no, we don't want you. You're going to be a risk, right? But in coming back, she went through so much stress. And this cancer appeared. So now she has to do chemo through the hospital. But chemo alone is a pound and a crown. Plus the vitamins and stuff that you have to get with it so that you don't feel nauseous and stuff. That is additional funds. And this is if she did not go through the hospital. So then after, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks of chemo, then she got to do brachytherapy or something, which is basically they're attacking the tumor directly. So they want to shrink it first and then attack it. If she had decided to go to Canada, I think, it was something, or the States, the entire treatment would have been $45,000 US. And this is in your 30s. The other day, actually yesterday, my business partner shared with me a 23-year-old girl, stage 2 cervical cancer. But she has a GoFundMe, and I think she has medical insurance covered in England. So she only needed like £15,000 or whatever. But when you do the maths, that's about $45,000 Barbados dollars.
Oh, wow.
So imagine not having health insurance. And you have 2 kids or 3 kids or whatever, and something like that happens to you. You may beat it then, but then let's say the cancer comes back and you die at the age of like 60 or 70. So now you got 3 kids left with those medical bills. Because unfortunately, after you have cancer, there got some people that don't want to lend you money unless it's like unsecured or you got life insurance. Something happens. Mm-hmm. And so then your kids are left with that debt. And medical debt is real debt. No. Those bills add up. I can tell you that. Speaking firsthand, especially experiencing, as I say, my situation was very minor. And like that alone, and that happened during lockdown when I could not do makeup. So that was a strain on me. But as I say, I got pretty good. Like, my mother is still alive, and my mother will help me. Like, I will not call on her if I don't need to, but if I do call, my mother will help me. Okay. And everybody does not have that support. So And it's not nothing I brag about, but I'm very grateful that I have it. Right? And I want people to, especially young people, to understand that you may not be, your medical insurance is not, it is for the now, yes, but once you're healthy, you may not need it now, but as you get older, and you, even having a child, like doctor's appointments, ultrasound appointments, all of that is covered on the medical insurance. And because you've paid it for all the time, basically the company is covering a part of the cost. So it is a difference in you going to QEH Public, which some people don't mind, but there are some people who want to go at Bayview. And they sure the starting cost is about, I don't know, you got 2 children, help me in.
Great.
You got 3,000.
Let me jump in. I need to jump in here right now.
So for Lisa to really drop the actual cost so that especially women in our childbearing ages can understand the costs that comes along with the child.
Right. It is. Let me go back a little bit because brought out the health side of me. Where do we start? There's something called prevention better than cure. And when you are sexually active, you must have your checkups. There are no and ifs or buts about it. Women should have their pap smears. Young men, when you get a certain age, like 40 or over, go get a prostate checkup. Don't be frightened. Go get a prostate checkup.
Somebody should go and check everything.
Go and check. Go and check and see your whole thing. And we tend to take our life for granted because we say we're young, we're this, we're that, we can do this and that, and then something happens. Don't wait until that something happens. And I can speak in the vein that I'm speaking in because I was there. Mm-hmm. I was there. I'm a cancer survivor.
Oh, that's excellent. Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
And yes, agreeing with Shanelle, medical bills can get really, really, really expensive. And I had it quite interesting. I always say things are a risk. I remember with my insurance is that I was paying the insurance and then they were supposed to be sending me back the funds. Mm-hmm. I never get back a cent. Up to this day, and they had called, and they was, what I done with that, and they just literally just move on, and they I really wasn't. So when persons talk about health insurance, I get already coming out again, bite from Kiko, and then going into another insurance. And then not getting back the funds. I was like, really, y'all in this? So there are things that you can do as a person. I would always tell people to pay attention to what is going on around you. Do not take things for granted, especially when you have children. So agreeing with you, medical bills can be extremely, really, really expensive. Matter of fact, I don't have took my entire account. But there is a silver lining at the end of the storm. There's a rainbow at the ending of the storm. As long as you change your diet, that's the first thing. And you see the stress that a lot of us women undertake with dealing with your family and dealing with work and dealing with life and dealing with rejection in relationships. Those is where we have to now take a step back from life, learn how to forgive people, and also know, you know what, I will get through this. We tend to have like a nice little pity party when a diagnosis is given. I'm here to say the persons, when a diagnosis is given, this is when you have to say, God, I'm handing this over to you. Do not get into the depression mode. And it's easy for me to say, but hard for persons to do, not to go into depression mode. But remember, when you get depressed, when you get stressed, when you get frustrated, when you get angry, that is what causes cancer to grow. The negative emotions. So you now have to kind of switch things around, and especially when you have children. I remember when I was diagnosed with acute costochondritis, which is caused from stress, which would cause my chest to tighten up, and I will black right out in front of my son.
I know how that feels.
Exactly.
Not the blackout part, but the costochondritis for sure.
Yeah. And it wasn't an easy thing to come out of. But as I said before, the negative emotions and especially the stress, I had to really put things into perspective. And I always go back to this. I always tell people, now, if we persecuted Jesus and he had to get over us in 3 days and turn around and bless the whole world. Who are we to hold on to things? So you have, and do like Elsa, let it go. Not the hurricane we just had, but Elsa from Frozen. And she sings it all of the time. Let it go. Let it go. Mm-hmm. And you will find as you start to let go of certain things, it's let go of emotions, let go of the bills that are killing you, like literally. Because, I mean, if you are terminally ill, nothing you could do anyway. So if you really start to let go of things, you start to see life start to have a paradigm shift for you. And I can't say in that vein, had I not gone through it years ago. I know how it is to be a single mother. I know how it is to be not working. I know how it is to have debt and be like, wait, how am I going to pay consolidated finance? I've been there. And I'm glad to say, you know what? Through the years, I no longer owe consolidated finance because I own my own vehicle. I have a second child. I have my own home. And all of those things, and I have my businesses as well. I have
2 businesses,
and I have my businesses. So you have to use these things as an opportunity to really say, God, all right, what are you trying to teach me? All right, and not sticking only to Christianity, but let's go outside the spiritual realm. What are you really trying to teach me? And that's what life is about, you know. Life is a journey, but we think about only enjoying life is if we go and do the extracurriculars. We're gonna have drinks, we're gonna have fun with the friends. No, life is really to be enjoyed, you know. It's what you really make out of it. And if you tell yourself, oh, woe is me, and you're walking around with a dark cloud, it will stay on you. But you have to get up on the morning and say, you know what? I'm done with this here. I can't handle this anymore. I need to open a window. I need to move this cloud. I have to do something for me. Do it. Like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Exactly. You know, and literally make a to-do list. How you make a to-do list to do things for other people. Make a to-do list for yourself. Like today I will have my joy. Today I will have my peace. Today I will have my happiness. And keep going. It took me 3 years to learn that. So I can share easily. It's been through the fire. So when you actually do those things and have faith and have hope and all those different things that actually will bring that positive energy, literally, the cancer will go. Some of the friends too, because some of y'all got some toxic friends around you that need to move. Some of the toxic family too need to go. And so things start to actually change. That you can now build your self-esteem, build your self-worth, build your self-confidence, build your finances back to where they're supposed to be, and get your ducks in a row.
I am very glad that you shared your story because I honestly did not know that.
I know.
Right. I did not know that. So but that is exactly what this podcast is all about. Because as I said in the beginning, that both Lisa and I have had our financial ups and downs. We've had guidance in some we have not had guidance in. And I'm glad that she mentioned health not only physically, but also mentally.
And spiritually. Really important.
Because here in my mind, I'm thinking generational wealth. I'm thinking that, you know, financial education is something that we should teach our children to help with generational wealth. But I also want to add generational health.
Yeah.
No. So, because what I'm thinking is that you have to teach your children, you have to educate your children, not only financially, but as Lisa says, spiritually and mentally too.
Yeah.
You know, and really show them, and I find that as a Barbadian society, and I want to use pregnancy as an example. We see people pregnant, we're like, oh, that be so happy. And then we see the baby, oh, the baby's so cute. Right?
Sometimes.
So...
I'll be honest. Sorry.
Sometimes, well, I think all babies are cute. That's my, I don't have any kids yet, so all babies are cute. But but what I want to say is that very seldomly do we get the journey in the middle. Do we ever talk about UAP myself? And that was awful. My kidney shut down. My foot swelled. We don't hear that until...
Yeah, we don't hear
unless you have a very close friend. And I find that in Barbadian society, I don't know if men do it, but I find that women do it. we don't share our experiences with our children.
We don't, because some of us are ashamed.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
And I don't understand why. Some people think that I is overshare. Sometimes I probably do. But that's me. I believe that the only way to, a part of learning process, not only going through it, but other people sharing their stories. I love old people. I love old people. I love to hear old people talk
yes, that's the knowledge.
about old
That's
stories.
the knowledge.
Because that's where the knowledge comes from. And I find that if we talking about building generational wealth, health gotta be in there too. Our children have to know about our mistakes. They have to know, look, my mother did this, my father did this, my aunt did this, and this did not work for them, and I do not intend on letting it happen to me.
Exactly. I want to stick a pin there. Like, they put it right there. Healthy relationships as well too. Yeah. As I just said before, a lot of people have these, and they don't know that they're being showered with a bundle of narcissists. Narcissists are those people who only think of themselves, always blame you and you again, and they're toxic. And you realize, and you tell yourself, you know what, I'm so in love, but really and truly, no, honey, that's not love. But we don't cater for healthy relationships, and we need to speak about those things as well too, and encourage men to share that vulnerable side, because if you don't share it, it eventually turns into anger. And then when you see somebody snap, you're so like, where they getting on like that? But they were a ticking time bomb ever since, and people just weren't paying attention. Mm-hmm. So and that's what I said about the health part of it. You have to, forgiveness has to come out of it too. Mm-hmm. And that's what I said about having healthy relationships, because it's good to have wealth, it's good to have health, but then when you have a toxic environment, all of those things are compromised.
Yeah, because then if you have children growing up in a toxic environment, then the only thing that's going to happen is that then you have children living a life not knowing what a healthy environment, and you cannot get wealth if there's no health.
There we go.
That's what
and the
I
mindset
think.
and the mindset when you be there, and you got to be spending money at the counselor too. You got to spend some money there.
But back on physical health, physical, mental, back on health alone in general. Like, as I spoke about health insurance, but even in life insurance, investing in life insurance, if something tragic happens, like obviously you know that there's a beneficiary attached. So when you leave funds for your kids, then you have basically money to bury you. Like, the most tragic thing, and I could tell you for a fact, people burying parents and there's no money left to bury them with. And I am not sure it be. From my understanding, that funeral homes is use compound interest. And for me to explain what compound interest might take me a whole day or so, no, right? But basically, it's almost like you never stop paying the undertaker. And that has to be, for lack of a better word, a burden on somebody losing a parent.
Yeah.
And you have to bury them and there's nothing left.
And think that also there's a funeral grant that the government gives, but still...
credit unions also give a funeral grant. Credit unions give a funeral grant, I think, through their insurance. And also, if it is a case where your parent may have had money at a credit union, go to the credit union with, and a lot of people may not know this, if you go to the credit union, I'm not sure about the banks, but I know for the credit union for sure, if you provide the credit union with the invoice from the funeral home, once there's money there to pay that invoice, it will be paid. So now you even see the importance of saving. Even if you don't save for your kids, saving for yourself. Because imagine, I don't want to say the joy, but the ease it would be at a hard time. Your child losing you, and they're able to go to your credit union and say, look, my mom passed. Here's the death certificate, and this is the invoice for the funeral home. And you give one the customer service reps, and they can tell you, okay, no problem. You can pay the funeral, the check, or the payment is made directly to the funeral home. It's not given to you. It's made directly to the funeral home, and you are at ease. in your heartstrings. And they think that that's something a lot of people don't know.
No, yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know. And that can even push me now to another part of building generational wealth is having a will. Because in the event that you have built something for your kids, you got land. Children. Sorry. Lisa can beat me in here. The next thing she'll do is go a belt. So that's when her kids would just hear whoop back. For your children or child. If you got one child, it won't be a problem. But if you have many children, you may have land, you may have money in different accounts, you may have life insurance and stuff like that.
Yes.
A will.
It is important.
You know, they say where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will,
or it will end up in court.
Or actually, even the process of going through that probate and this and that, like that. I had to go through it because I lost my dad. Like that's like 4 years ago, probably, and my sister was the person that dealt with it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have to go through that process. But the process still going on. So understand that. Right? But however, it is a very lengthy process. And in this, my father had a will. Mm-hmm. Right? But there are like certain other institutions that we have to start out. But imagine if he didn't.
Understood.
It would even take longer. Because no... You have somebody got to go forward and they got to say that them can do this and them can do that. I don't know the full process, but what I can tell you is that I've seen it take a while. And the next thing is in death, you don't want your family fighting over your stuff. That has to be the most embarrassing thing ever. To see family fight over assets that someone has built.
It's true.
When you could simply, if you've made a will, you can say, Tom
exactly
gets the house in my large sale.
Yeah, it's true. I bequeath.
Lisa gets to run the company in St. Peter. Like, you can literally lay it out like that. Obviously, there's illegal language, as Lisa clearly states. But, you know, don't leave your loved ones squabbling over it. You don't need animosity in a time of death. After.
Because you see you see it a lot because when you drive around Barbados and you see so many houses out there just falling to pieces, those is when you know that, hey, that one is in court, that one is in court. You can count them because you see them on bush growing, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So I agree with you. Get things in order.
I know of instances where family, like somebody died. And you literally have somebody who does not have some place to live and maybe living at other people and stuff like that. Mm. And they got a house somewhere that, you know, that
the person can use.
That somebody could use, right? And it's like, oh, it belongs to XYZ, or it never gets settled, and XYZ got the key, and he don't want nobody living there.
And I think the rats.
You know, and it's just the rats, and actually, you could have a family member living in it. It could be an income property, but people hold on to things.
Yeah, that's when people being selfish. Yeah, that's the problem there.
That's something that Barbarians
is and a crab in a bucket mentality. So those kind of people, you go, you know what? All right, God will get there because they can't take the house with them. So holding on to a bunch of keys makes absolutely no sense. But if that is what makes some people sleep properly at nighttime, go right ahead. We ain't here to judge. We are not here to judge.
We're not here to judge. Exactly. If that's your thing, that's definitely your thing. So however, I will say. But it's not our thing because we want to make sure that everybody is financially comfortable. Mm-hmm. And even in financially comfortable, if it means helping someone else on their journey.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because that's another thing that we have to realize, that when you help someone, it's come back to you. And don't do it solely based on the fact like, oh, you can do this because you can get good karma. No. You do it with the kindness of your heart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so that's gonna roll us over to financial education.
Well, we kind of covered that topic already when we touched on health and when they said that not only financial education, but no education spiritually and mentally.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and everything like that. But for sure, building a business though.
Oh.
Because I find that, I want to say this without it being controversial. I think that our school syllabus,
There's a whole other topic.
right? I think our school syllabus
Needs revamping. I'll say it needs revamping.
Needs revamping, of course. But I find that we are now in a mindset of where we have to work for people. Mm-hmm. And I am not saying that, and as a person who owns her own business, and yes, I work at BET, I will tell you, I've learned to strike a balance where honestly working here has really helped me to like deal with people. Because I got some entrepreneurs that really ain't sure how to deal with people, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Mm-hmm. But I think that our school syllabus is set on
us finding a job.
Finding a job rather than, being an entrepreneur. And I think that if you're building a family, I think that you should build a business out of that family. And I can speak firsthand because my family has done that. And I am not saying that personally. I mean, I have my days in working in the supermarket. Don't get to tell you. Mm-hmm. I cash, I pack shelves, I stock take. When lockdown, I did taking order for groceries and packing groceries and delivering groceries and doing everything they have to do. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, it makes me understand the value of a family business because the business feeds the family.
It is.
And if it's not, and it will teach your children everything that we mentioned here now, having a family business and letting your children work from the bottom. Don't build the business and bring your son or your daughter to come in to sit down in the manager's seat. No,
it's true. You have to bring them in from
the beginning because they have to know how the business works from the ground up. Because they need to understand that the business feeds the family. And once they're invested in the business from the beginning, mentally, once they're invested in it,
it's true.
Right.
It is true.
You will see that your family, the business will grow and continue to grow if they do the same practices you did. They let their children come in from the ground and see how the business works from the ground up. Right.
Because it will too curb the way the spending as well too. Because once children see what you are doing, and I will speak from my experience as well. My son sees how hard I work. So he knows, okay, I'm not gonna humbug my mother and ask her about money for Roblox because Roblox, by the way, is a game that all these children like to play in. I can't explain it any further, but anywho, he then understood, I'm not gonna ask her, so I'm gonna find a way to make the crypto or whatever to pay for what he wants. So certain and like snacks and whatever the case may be, they will understand. But I am not gonna bug my mother this stuff because hey, we have to then turn over this finance and the finances from the business to grow it more, to expand more, and also to take care of the
amenities in the house. I tell you is that she had a little boy doing invoices. But
it wasn't child labor, but
it wasn't child labor.
He does invoices.
But however, but I applaud her for that. Yeah. Because now he understands that when mommy is selling her products and stuff like that, it is not that mommy boxes is come here and she's just take them out and sell them to people and got money. It is a process. So she knows how to like do an invoice, do a receipt. She knows how to file her taxes. Like she has so much things to do. So now he understands that there's paperwork behind the money.
Behind it, exactly.
Right.
He understands.
And there's nothing wrong with involving your children because he's 12, right?
Yes.
Right, so he's 12, so he could understand, right? So there's nothing wrong with involving your children in it instead of just having them say no, playing
exactly
video games and
don't have to get the habit. And I don't like to see this, but I'm seeing it a lot when you go to establishments and the young people with the cell phone in the hand 24/7. You have to get these children rotated, get a strike a balance. Sometimes you go on the phone, sometimes you get out and socialize, and that's where customer service comes in as well too. Because they have him answering the phone as well. And people go like, "Who's that pleasant young man that answers the phone?" And when they say, "Well, that's my son," they go like, how old he is again? Because I have a bit of training from early, and that tool was embedded for me from the time I was younger and and around his age, where you would say, hello, good afternoon, how can I assist? So it was always in me, and I passed it on to him, rather than hello, and there's a blank space. So you know how to communicate, and you speak to your children. That's why I believe in quality time with your children and with your family too, even with your partner. And that is where you actually a lot of ideas start to come up. Because I mean, these young ones are coming up. The TikTok, the Twitter, the YouTube, so much different things.
Social media is raising our kids.
Yeah, and so you have to know when you are in business.
Children.
I know you in this goat scenario is not working out that well. So when you have your children, as I say, get little ideas from them as well too, because you'll be so amazed what they can do with the gadgets that you give these children. You'll be so amazed what they can do.
Yeah.
Cause I saw my son, he created his YouTube channel, and I was like, what?
But kids even have like American accents. Like, have you heard them?
I think I can have a Peppa Pig.
No.
I think I have a Peppa Pig.
But I have I have a goddaughter. Her grandmother is British and her aunt. So at one point she had a British accent. But no, it's a YouTube American accent. And I think it's the cutest thing ever, which is fine. But
I don't really particularly like it, because my thing is, I always tell my son is that you have to be your own individual. And I don't like, see, we in the Caribbean, we have so much to offer. Just a lot of us don't know. And I love our culture. I really love the Caribbean culture. So I always tell my son, I get to understand everything that is going on. Because mind you, even though they're on the internet, he's speaking to someone in the Netherlands. And I'm going like, and I'm sure about the mother that is in Netherlands probably going like, she must have felt really proud to know her son's communicating with somebody in the Caribbean. And that's how you get to open their minds. So I don't really mind the accent. I had one too when I was growing up, but you get to open the minds. I used to travel a lot, so that's why I had the English twang when I came back for this summer. Cause I spent most of my summers in England. So you had that little twang when you came back to the island. But as I said, it's about opening up your mind, having that mindset, and that's how you can really build generation. And the minute you hear people talk about Barbados, say, they don't have much opportunities here, and they got so much obstacles, and I'm trying to understand how are foreigners coming here and making it. Foreigners are coming here and they're starting on, we all know the primary foreigner that comes, and they really make it.
They're just next door.
They make it. And we go like, we can't because there's so much this and that. No. Get your mindset there. Get your mindset. So you know what? I am going from point A. I came from a rented land on top of Harrison's Cave to living in a urban development with my family. And when we were in the urban development, we first was there just in bathroom and 1 bedroom. And we went from that, and that time the house wasn't painted, had no tiles, nothing. But from that, as a praying family, we have what we have now. So I always tell people, you gotta know where you want to go, but the journey ain't gonna be easy.
So my question to you then, can we say then that outside of generational wealth, is building financial legacy and passing on assets? Is also a mindset.
Yes, it is. It's a mindset in the family. So you have to have communication in your household.
So really and truly, even if you don't have it now, let it start with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I will say. That's how I want to end this note.
Yes.
That's how I want to end it. Like, if you don't have that mindset now, let it start with you.
Oh, yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of episode 2. Episode 2. Imagine that. It felt like just yesterday we did episode 1. So you know how it's going to be. Remember, if you have any comments, any queries, any topics that you would like us to discuss, or even if, you want to sit in on something, or if you're a professional and you have some stuff you want to share with us, you can drop me an email at news@betcul.com. Feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at BET Credit Union. And this is Shanelle and Lisa signing out.
Bye-bye.